On a weekday morning in October of 1971, I crashed my car on the corner of Buck and Lawndale Roads, just east of my hometown, Freeland, Michigan. The car I was driving, a VW Bug, collided with a van as I drove through the intersection. This was all flat farmland. On 3 out of 4 corners, field corn had grown to maximum height. I would have crossed this intersection at approximately 35 miles per hour. No stop signs in any direction, with my view almost totally obstructed by corn. I would have been listening to Jethro Tull on the 8-track tape player in my car, the music turned up loud. I would have been mildly buzzed. It was my practice at the time to take a few hits on a joint or a pipe on the way to class. I had started my second year of college. I had a career goal in mind. Behind me, on the back seat of the car, were notebooks, textbooks for public speaking, sociology, economics, and principles of accounting. I was told weeks later that after my car was struck, it rolled. A VW would roll like a ball into this woman's vegetable garden on the one corner with no field corn. I have no recollection of the collision, of the moments immediately before or after, no memory of the hours preceding it. And afterward, for all of 10 days, all is a blank. Weeks, maybe months later, I saw a picture of the car, and I wondered, did it come to rest on its side? Upside down? Right side up? Did Jethro Tull continue to play on the tape deck? How long was I in the car? How did they get me out of it? What route did they take to the hospital in Saginaw? I'm lucky I wasn't killed. What did I know about dying? In 5th grade, I went through a fainting phase. It was brief. It was deliberate. It was a boy thing. Girls weren't this stupid. Some of us boys made each other faint. There was a fainter and a faintee. What the faintee did was take 10 deep breaths and hold the last one, while behind you, the fainter, your buddy, wrapped his arms around your chest and gave you this crushing bear hug. It took 10 or 15 seconds. Your body went limp, you passed out, and the fainter hugging you, Danny Lehman, or Eddie Maurer, or Joe Herka, laid you on the floor. The blackout lasted no more than 10 seconds or so. When you came to, there was this buzzing in your head and a warming, tingling sensation as oxygenated blood flooded back into your brain, and you saw, standing over you, a 6 knuckleheads, your friends, looking down at you as if you had fallen into a hole. There followed a few seconds of confusion, of strangeness. What happened? Where am I? Then you rejoined the living. It was pretty stupid, possibly even dangerous. Just before things went black, you felt like your head was going to pop like a balloon. We did this in the classroom. We pushed chairs and desks out of the way to make room for the faintee. For some reason, our teacher, Mrs. Alt, tolerated this nonsense until one day, after being lowered to the floor, Bob Young had some low-level convulsions. Maybe, just maybe, we reasoned, this was not such a good idea. What was perplexing was the total state of absence. It wasn't like sleep. It was like death, which to boys could seem cool. Years later, when I became aware of near-death experience accounts, They bore no similarity to what had happened to me that fall in 1971. For me, the near-death experience was all black. There was no long, dark tunnel with a light at the end of it. Nobody waiting for me. Nor was there a sensation of hovering over my body, looking down at myself and thinking, well, I can stay or I can go. And right now, going seems like an okay thing to do. Not that. No rush of memory. No lifetime passing before my eyes. For days after the crash, I was surrounded by people. They talked to me. When I replied, I answered in short sentences, often in gibberish, none of which I remember. It is likely my parents sat beside my bed, my hand in theirs, and murmured prayers. It is likely they cried. A friend of mine later told me that she saw my mother on an elevator at the hospital, and she was weeping. In my memory, though, no murmuring, no prayers, no memory at all. No fade to black, just blank, gone. Then, gradually, awakening. What just happened? The first dead person I ever saw was a relative named Chuck Norman. He was the husband of one of my father's cousins, a dentist I saw at family reunions once or twice. Chuck was kind of a flashy guy.